Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar for the Housing Security Challenge. This is Talia Gibbous, Program Officer with Common Pool, the agency that is supporting the Arizona Community Foundation for this opportunity. We are joined this afternoon by Lisa Dansock, Jennifer Foley, and Lori Vesco of the Arizona Community Foundation, as well as my colleagues Ethan Matthews and Lynn Van Dievender of Common Pool. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the News and Updates page of the competition website, housingsecuritychallenge.org, later on this week. We will also email it to all of those who have registered for the competition. We have reserved the majority of our time this afternoon for your questions. And in just a moment, I will turn things over to the Arizona Community Foundation to further welcome you and provide a brief overview of the Housing Security Challenge. Then we will do a quick walkthrough of the competition website, and then my colleague Lynn Van Dievender will help open it up for questions. As your questions come up, please type them into the chat, and we will answer as many as we can within our allotted time. Big reminder, the deadline to register for the Housing Security Challenge is Tuesday, December 1st at 5 p.m. Mountain. Please note that you must register in order to be able to submit an application. Looking ahead, please save the date of Wednesday, January 6th at 12 noon Mountain for our second Q&A webinar for this competition. That webinar will be open to registered applicants only and will include a technical demonstration of the online application platform. We will also answer more of your questions. More details on that webinar will be emailed to all registrants after the registration deadline. If you have more questions after today's session, please email them to questions@housingsecuritychallenge.org, and we will be happy to assist you. And now I am pleased to turn things over to Lisa Dansock of the Arizona Community Foundation.
Thank you, Talia. This is Lisa Dansock, and I appreciate the introduction and all of the information you've provided thus far. I want to cover the reason the Arizona Community Foundation has embarked upon this journey, and I want to also thank all of the people who have joined us today who have expressed an interest in participating in this very special innovative prize. The Arizona Community Foundation is really focusing on affordable housing as one of its major initiatives over the next 3 years. The challenges that we're facing in Arizona related to affordability and the ability to make sure that all citizens are able to afford a house has never been more difficult than what we're seeing. As if the pricing in Arizona wasn't difficult enough, being hit by COVID-19 just made things even more difficult. But the reason we're focusing on affordable housing is particularly because housing and apartment rental prices and costs are rising at unprecedented levels, obviously in Arizona, across the state. Our supply of affordable rent and purchase housing is not keeping pace with the general needs that we have throughout the state. We have the third most severe affordable housing shortage across the United States. And in Flagstaff alone, the median home price is amongst the highest in the nation. And I just saw in the paper today that I think Phoenix and Maricopa County, the average median home price has now gone up to $369,000. That is unaffordable for most of the people that are living here. And then obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the COVID-19 crisis has impacted people's ability to pay for housing, and eviction rates are at an all-time high. But the reason and the way that the Arizona Community Foundation, who we are over 42 years old now, we look at an issue that we can focus on that is important to the community at large, and in this case, across the state. And how we're approaching the affordable housing issue is to focus all of our tools that we have towards the end of making affordable housing more more available to people. We're going to use our grant making and look at grant making towards the services that support the Affordable Housing Challenge. We're also looking at our public policy initiatives and how we could potentially support getting continued or increased funding at the governmental level towards the issue, and then also making sure that the policies that are in place are actually helping the situation and not hurting it. We've been involved in the pre-development loan programs where we've helped do pre-development loans for affordable housing projects, and we're working towards increasing our investment and doubling down on those types of buildings and pre-development activities that need to take place to make more affordable housing available. And two additional pieces that we've added are we're working with the Arizona Republic to do a collaborative effort on investigative journalism to highlight what issues are taking place in the community so that people understand the issue over the next 2 years. It's serious and we need to address it. And then we've also engaged with the Morrison Institute to work on developing metrics so that we can measure the work that we do and our connectivity with all of the other funders in the affordable housing area so that we're working together and collaboratively to solve and or reduce the issues that we're facing. And last but not least is the project that you're going to hear about today, which is our Innovation Challenge. And ACF has a history of doing innovation prizes. And the reason we enter into these is because we find that asking for creative solutions to problems is the best way to get new thinking and get out of the traditional way that we look at these problems. We like winning ideas. We like big picture thinking. We know that the people on this call have the brain power to solve this important challenges that we face. We love to see visionary and new ideas. We certainly reward and respect outside the box thinking. And we absolutely hope to inspire creativity through this prize. And our history has shown us this is the fourth New Arizona Prize that we've conducted. Our first one in 2015 was around water consciousness. In 2016, we did one around water innovation. And in 2018, we did one around water public art. So art projects that help build the connectivity between cultures and educate the public on the ingenuity of the Hohokam Valley, in the valley. Most often, we have set these prizes at anywhere between $50,000 to $250,000. And this year, we're proud to announce that this prize will award one lucky and innovative idea at the $250,000 level. The reason we're inspiring and calling for this innovation prize is obviously you heard the issues that we're facing, but we really want to come up with innovative solutions that have the potential to serve as models in addressing housing insecurity across the state of Arizona and to benefit both racially and economically diverse communities. We have a major focus at the Arizona Community Foundation to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and making sure that all people have the right and the opportunity for safe and affordable housing. And we want these new ideas that you will bring to the table to be implementable. It's great to have an idea, but we want to be able to implement these here in Arizona. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to the team who's going to give you more specifics about the application process and then take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Lisa. This is Talia again with Common Pool, and thanks again to everyone who's joining us this afternoon. Now I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of the competition website, housingsecuritychallenge.org. If you have not taken a look at this website already, we encourage you to spend some time on it. It really is chock full of useful information for you. We're going to start just by briefly talking a little bit more about registration. You've heard us mention registration several times. It is required in order for you to be able to submit an application, and it is a very simple process. So from any page on the website, if you go to the upper right-hand corner and click on the button, if you have not already registered, it would say 29 days to register. So you click on that button, and you would then be instructed to create and confirm your account. It really just takes a few moments to do this. After that, you will be prompted to submit some basic information about your organization, and this helps us better understand our registrant community. An important note is that you will not receive an email confirmation of your registration. If you're able to access the online application and the forums on the back end of the platform, that means that you have registered successfully for the competition. The Housing Security Challenge, like all of our competitions, is rooted in values of openness, transparency, and fairness. And our goal is to make sure that everyone who registers and applies for this opportunity knows exactly what is expected of them, when and how they're going to be evaluated, and who will be doing those evaluations. So this website is really an instructional guide to understand all of that. One of the best places to start to help you further understand what is being looked for is the application for the Housing Security Challenge. So as you can see, the full text of the application is available for any visitor on the site, regardless of whether or not they have registered. You can see all of the questions, prompts, requirements, and word count limits. The application has several sections, and you're encouraged to read over all of them so that you have a good grasp of what is required in order to submit a competitive application. Once you've done that, you should have a pretty good sense of what you'll need to do to apply. The next question is how your application will be evaluated, and for that, we point you to the scoring rubric. So all applications that meet the eligibility requirements will be reviewed by members of the evaluation panel using this rubric. And as you can see, it has 4 traits. Each trait will be given a score between 0 and 5. And on the website, you can toggle back and forth between the scoring ranges for any trait and see some phrases that will provide further detail for what a high and low score means for that particular trait for the Housing Security Challenge. It is common for applicants to study the scoring range definitions and use them to really think through projects that align with the high end of the rubric, and we encourage you to do that. That rubric really helps define what makes a strong proposal for this challenge. If you're curious about who exactly will be evaluating your proposals, you can see the list of confirmed evaluation panel members on the website as well. It's important to note that not only will you receive scores on your application from 5 of these individuals, but you'll also get written feedback, so actual comments that are provided to justify each score. These panel members will also be asked to note their overall impression of each application. We often find that this feedback is one of the most important aspects of participating in our competitions. So even if you ultimately are not awarded this opportunity, you walk away with valuable feedback that you can then use to further refine your solutions. Based on the results of that evaluation panel, up to 5 finalists will be chosen and asked to participate in a live pitch event in front of the selection committee. You can also see the selection committee members on the website. And please note that further details regarding that event and whether or not it will be in person or virtual will be shared at a later date. So I mentioned that every application will be scored by members of the evaluation panel. And on the website, we also have a dedicated page that describes further how we ensure fairness in that process. So some evaluation panel members might naturally be more lenient graders and others more harsh graders. And we make sure that you're not disadvantaged if by chance you are assigned to hard graders and another application is reviewed by someone who tends to be more lenient. Briefly, all scores are rescaled and normalized after the evaluation panel process has been complete. And on the webpage titled A Level Playing Field, you can read more about how that works. We encourage you to take a look at that. A few other quick features on the website that I want to point out. First is the rules page. And this is where you can read about all of the legal stipulations and the terms governing your participation, as well as eligibility criteria and the terms and conditions that are required of all participating teams. We also have a timeline page, which is very important. It details each phase of the competition. As we've mentioned several times, registration is required and must be completed by December 1st at 5 p.m. Mountain in order for you to be able to submit an application. And then you can scroll through and see the next phases of the competition. The application deadline is Wednesday, January 20th, also at 5 p.m. Mountain. And then the timeline goes on to list the other key dates and timeframes related to the competition. The website also includes on the home page a series of frequently asked questions with some additional very important information that we encourage you to read over. And then last but not least, you've heard us mention the news and updates page, but that is also where we will be posting some helpful information, including the recording of this webinar. So with that, we wanted to move into the question and answer portion of this webinar. So please add any questions that you might have to the chat, and we will get to as many as we can. Please note that in order to ensure fairness, we are not able to provide guidance specific to your proposed solution. But please note that you can also always email us at questions@housingsecuritychallenge.org, and a member of our team will get back to you. So with that, we can go ahead and get started with questions.
Okay, here we go. I'm wondering if you can talk about some of the past projects that have been funded.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Talia, can you hear me? And can the others hear me as well?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. I think the caller is asking about other affordable housing initiatives within ACF, correct? And if so,
yes,
please visit the Arizona Community Foundation website. It details the types of initiatives that are being funded and worked on at Arizona Community Foundation. Lisa, Jen, do you have anything to add?
No, Lori, I would just say that we are in the first year of our focus on the Arizona Community Foundation's Affordable Housing Project, and we are working in collaboration with other partners to look at where the greatest need is. Obviously, we are not in a position to be able to build housing units, so our focus has been around more the services and the pre-development loan, and then also the research on where the problems and challenges. But I would say this is why we're seeking, innovative ideas around solutions that maybe others have thought of that we haven't considered yet.
Great, thank you. Can an institution be on multiple proposals, such as Arizona State University?
Hi, it's Lori again. There's a great section on the website that details it in more detail. But basically, if Arizona State University has a team, great. And if people at Arizona State University are assisting or providing expert opinion to another team, that's fine as well. The limitations, of course, is that the same people at ASU cannot have two teams. Did I say that correctly, Talia?
Yes. So another way of thinking about it is an organization can submit multiple proposals provided that the teams are distinct. And please note that you must have a distinct registration for each application that you are planning to submit.
What is the deadline for the expenditure of the funds?
That will depend on the proposal's project plan.
Is there a range at all, Lori?
Say it again, Lynn.
Is there a range for the length of the project at all?
In the past, it has been within 1 year. It really depends on the project plan.
Great. Is there a way to find out who other collaborators are so we can partner with others if possible?
I will direct you to the forums page on the website. And the answer is yes. If you're looking for specific collaborators, you're more than welcome to use the forums page.
This is Talia, just to provide a little bit more context. As you can see on your screen, the forums are accessible to anyone who has registered. So once you have registered, you'll be able to see some frequently asked questions, and you can also post on your own if you're interested in collaborating with others, and that will be visible to everyone else who has registered.
Next question, do you require letters of support?
Unlike in the past, go ahead, Talia.
Oh, I would. You can go. You can go ahead first, Lori. Sorry.
The application itself, we are not asking for letters of support. I believe someone that has participated in previous initiatives asked the question because we did in the past on 2 other initiatives. But do pay attention to the application on the website. Go ahead.
Oh, that's pretty much exactly. I was just going to note that this application itself does not allow for any additional materials to be uploaded.
Next question. I see that partnership is heavily emphasized in many areas of the application, but wanted to know if multiple partners are a requirement for a project.
Again. We are interested in teams participating and not individuals. Does that answer the question?
Yes. If that didn't answer the question, please just go ahead and put in another note clarifying your request. Referring to affordable housing, are you focusing on rentals or ownership?
I need more detail to answer the question, Lynn.
Okay. So if the person who answered that or asked that question could just add some more details, please. The next question is, are solutions only for permanent housing solutions, or could they be issues for those in rental housing that have come up due to COVID? I think this is similar to the previous question. Sounds like in the nature of the proposed solution, should they focus on permanent housing, or would they be also able to focus on rentals versus ownership?
And that would depend on your proposal. It's your idea, therefore propose the way that you prefer the plan to work or the idea to work.
So Lori, it sounds like either one of those could be acceptable. Is that right?
That is correct.
Great. Okay. Does the winning project need to have a statewide impact, or can it be a model for future scale replication?
I would love to answer the question both, but we're mostly interested in future model.
Talia, I will also just quickly note that on the scoring rubric, scalable is one of the criteria that is listed. So you'll want to be sure to take a close look at the range definitions for that particular criteria.
Great. Can you please elaborate on the broader context when addressing housing?
Again, I need more detail to answer the question.
Okay.
Or context question.
All right. Are you providing a single award or multiple?
I didn't hear the question, Lynn.
Are you providing a single financial award or multiple?
One single $250,000 award.
How many organizations have registered so far?
That information is unavailable to the public at this time.
Can awarded funds be used to pay for advocacy or lobbying?
You'll note on the application that we ask very specific lobbying questions. Please refer to the application.
So looks like there's a specific question related to that. So if you do have advocacy or lobbying in your program, it looks like that is where you should enter that information.
Exactly. And as a whole, for those that are listening, please review the FAQs or the facts page, the forums page, the rules page, the terms and conditions page. And if you have additional questions, please let us know.
How do you release funding to the awardee?
The process is that we will enter into an agreement, a personal services agreement with the organization, and we will discuss it after the award is done. And once that agreement is signed, then the check is mailed.
Great. And the next two questions are related, and these are revisited from the previous questions. So are individual organizations eligible to apply? And when you're defining team, does that mean more than one organization or agency, or can it be a team that is internal to an organization?
The latter. If in fact, let's pick someone as an example. Trellis. If Trellis wanted to apply, yes, the people at Trellis could propose a team or an idea.
Great. Are there recommendations on budget distributions? We are mulling over how many funds should go to contracted labor or consultancies.
That is completely up to the team.
What kind of reporting requirements are there?
In the personal services agreements, we basically only ask 3-4 different questions: how the funds were utilized and in what time frames, and what were the major accomplishments or challenges associated with the project.
Great, and that is the end of the questions. If there are other questions that you have, please go ahead and type them into the questions box. Okay, so I will note also as we wait to see if any last questions come in. As always, if you have more questions after the webinar, you can email questions@housingsecuritychallenge.org, and we would be more than happy to assist you. If you have not done so already and you intend to apply for the Housing Security Challenge, you must register no later than Tuesday, December 1st at 5 p.m. Mountain in order to be eligible to submit an application. A recording of this webinar will be made available to registrants via email, and we'll also post a link in the forums as well as on the news and updates page of the website.
Just want to double check that we don't have any more questions. Lynn, I think we're good. Am I right?
That's correct. No other questions have been entered.
Okay.
Thank you all for participating.
Yes. Many thanks to you for joining us, and thanks for bearing with us with our little technical issue with the Q&A versus the chat box. We appreciate it very much. And Lori, were there any other final thoughts that you wanted to offer?
We are very much looking forward to your ideas and your proposals and your solutions regarding housing insecurity. Thank you in advance.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the afternoon.
As well. Take care.